Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
The boys are back in town, a song I don't like, which may lead into something that we'll talk about a little bit later. Maybe. We'll see. We never know really how things flow as we're back with another edition of Thirsty Thursday, Sense and Nonsense. I have cracked open a Moon Rambler IPA by Founders Beer Company, and it is quite tasty. Well, Joe has gone coastal. It says Goin' Coastal IPA with pineapple by Sweetwater, which I've drank some Sweetwater beer before, and you gave it a quick thumbs up. But the thing is, Joe brought a variety of different beers, but only one of each, so we're going to have to give you our own individual takes on those. But, of course, Joe doesn't get to speak in the first segment. So so today we obviously have the ever-fabulous fact check, which Joe has in his hot little hand, and he's got a nice printed version of that. And as usual, we don't really know where we're going to go. We have discussed potentially talking a few musical things. And what's that hand say? You have 10 fact. You're giving it 9 out of 10. Wow. We'll talk about that when we come back, too. I think the thing about, I go to a liquor store, and I'm not going to make this a long one because this is the open. And the selling point for this liquor store, I'll give them a little plug, Justin's and Shawnee over near the Hy-Vee, is that more than occasionally they have overruns near the front door, and they're really good prices for what turn out to be really good beers. And many of them, I think I've mentioned this before, are beers that tout the fact that they have some kind of fruit in them. And I think that scares people off, and generally there's very little fruit taste in something like that. So I'm going to get Joe's take on the going coastal with the pineapple, because usually it's just a very slight hint of something like that. I'm going straight IPA here, though. So as usual, we have beers, we have opinions, we have facts, we have things that we try to pass off as facts, and all that comes your way next on Thirsty Thursdays, Sense and Nonsense, right here on the Reasonably Irreverent podcast.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here once again with Dr. Brad Woodall from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Springtime, good weather's finally here. People want to stay active, and it's your job to make sure that they can stay active, and be healthy.
Danny, we see a lot of not just weekend warriors, but people that every day are having that want to get back to activity. Whether you're starting with walking, jogging, or maybe that first 5K of the year, we want to help you out. We specialize in taking care of all ages, from kids all the way to grandmas and grandpas, but absolutely specialize in getting you back to full function and keeping you in great shape.
So in short, how do we go about doing that?
The first thing is to schedule a consultation with one of our doctors and therapists so we can see how you move and how you're supposed to move. Based on our assessment, we can put together a short treatment plan and a set of goals to help you both feel better, function better, and most importantly, stay better for this year and many years to come.
Learn more at asfca.com/Danny. That's asfca.com/Danny. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. Let's have a brief conversation with David Schmidt from Pro Millennial. David, What differentiates you from other financial organizations?
I would say the passion we have for seeing our clients succeed is probably paramount to what we do here. There's no joy greater than watching a client accumulate wealth. I had a client that I've had for many years was able to buy his dream warehouse. Nothing too extravagant, but we had a savings plan in place and was able to see him fulfill his dreams.
And what else motivates you in this industry?
Well, lately it's been finding out inconsistencies in the marketplace, ferreting out some more than questionable ideas out there that what we're seeing with Bitcoin and a few of these other cryptocurrencies right now. I'm of the opinion where if it's untraceable, it really needs to be regulated in a big way right now.
To get more information and advice from David, visit promillennial.com or call 816-221-7775. That's 816-221-7775. We're here with Michael Barber, the CEO and founder of Microlight Corporation of America, the world leaders in laser therapy. And Michael, tell us a little bit about your product.
Our device is using a particular wavelength and power to reduce pain and swelling. My background is surgical lasers, but I've been involved with this particular device now for about the last 20 years, actually.
And I know that it works because I've had it used on me as well. And tell us about the relationship you have with your company and Canaway.
It's what I call a strategic business relationship in that Canaway, the leader in the field of the cannabinoid systems and CBD oil, but our device used in conjunction with Canaway CBD oil gives a better pain relief outcome for the patient.
And if you want to get that pain relief outcome like I did, you can reach their local representative, Sherry McCants, at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at Danny@DannyKlinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
All right, Danny, listen, this Going Coastal IPA with pineapple, this is 9 out of 10 right here.
Wow.
All right, this is a 9er.
So just a hint of pineapple flavor?
Just a hint. You want to try it?
Sure. I'm not worried about getting ill or anything. I'm vaccinated, and I've never been that fussy about, sipping on somebody else's brew.
It's delicious. It's almost no pineapple.
Yeah, you almost don't taste any pineapple there, but just the slightest hint of it.
Oh, yeah.
And to maybe sort of mellows out the IPA.
It's very good. Mellows it. How you doing, buddy? It's been 2
weeks. Doing
all
right. Yep, been a couple of weeks. Got home to the homeland in between our last two Thirsty Thursdays.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I got a little bit about that in the fact check here.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's outstanding. It was a fine visit, and it was a little melancholy, a little weird. It was originally scheduled to be at a time when the house would still be sort of as it was, but the buyers wanted it accelerated, so really it was a weekend where the family was gathering to get the crap out of there. And it was almost empty. In fact, the only bed standing was the one I slept in. And, in fact, the last evening I was there, I was the only person in the house.
Ooh, was that weird?
It was a little weird. It was more weird in the morning, getting up and sort of going room to room and saying goodbye to these different rooms, because basically, during the course of the time I grew up, I think I had my bedroom in almost every bedroom. So I have some memory.
Are you the youngest? So you're
I'm
moving up?
I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest.
Oh.
But
so you're just kicking the younger ones out of their rooms?
No,
Get out of
I
here.
don't think I had anything to do with it. I think it just maybe that we changed the structure of it. We did have my youngest sister was born when we lived there, so that may have had something to do with the change of configuration. I don't know. I don't really remember. There was one room. The room I stayed in was the room that I had my longest tenure in. I know that.
Longest
So,
tenure.
anyway, it was a great visit. Thank you. Thank you
That's
for
good.
asking. Thank you for asking.
I was at the lake. That was great.
I know you were. I'll tell you this. We'll tell this little story. So, I drive to my nephew's soccer game.
Oh, yeah.
On Saturday morning.
And how old is your nephew?
Sunday morning. He's 14, but I thought he was 11 or 12. I'm not out there that much. He actually has been sort of passed by as far as size and et cetera.
Oh, really?
By some of his friends, which is causing some consternation for him. Because he's quite a good player, or he was ahead of his age group. Anyway, all that doesn't really matter. I was driving there, and it was a pretty lengthy drive, 45, 55 minutes, and part of it is down these beautiful New England roads. they're canopied by trees. And
That 55 minutes gets you like 2 miles.
no, you can go. They're 45, and then actually that was only about a third of the drive. The other 2/3 was interstate, basically.
Okay.
So, but I texted Joe a photo, and I said, "Hey, I'm at my nephew's soccer game. Beautiful drive here to this place," and I had stopped the car and took a picture of out the windshield of this lovely view that you get at New England, and you kind of don't remember it. And I'm sure the people there, it's just matter of fact to them, but it's just beautiful, beautiful driving down these beautiful country roads. And they're not country roads. You don't call them that in Massachusetts. There's houses everywhere. Suburban, beautiful roads, swanky suburban roads. So I text Joe the picture, and he texts me back a picture from the previous evening of shot over the bow of his boat into an Lake of the Ozarks sunset. So I texted back, "The Black Knight calls it a draw." Because obviously you had the winning photo.
Yeah, we had a stormy day on Saturday, and then that sunset was just like somebody painted it. I mean, it was... We get some good ones. Not as good as Western Kansas, though. Western Kansas are the best sunsets in the world.
Well, I do truly appreciate sunsets because where I grew up, you never saw the sunset because it was hilly and there were trees all over the place, and literally the sun would go behind whatever an hour and a half before the sun actually set. So you really didn't get all those hues, and I get beautiful sunsets out the front of our house in Shawnee.
Well, had you not turned down the invite to the lake about a month ago, maybe I got a perfect spot to go out on the water for the sunset ride. It's a good time. Some beers are had as well.
I would love to do it. There are complications on the weekends in my life. You don't think I would like to go? I love the water.
And there was free golf.
I love boats.
We're going to do it.
Golf. Yeah, we'll do it sometime. We'll make it happen sometime. Of course, it will involve maybe working around my little appearance on Seren Petro's show, which is sponsored by Easton Roofing.
You can call him from the boat.
Yeah, that's true. No, that probably won't work. I think what would have to happen is I would tape the show in the morning, maybe, and then
that'll work.
Down. We'll make it happen.
You want some facts?
I do want some facts checked.
You talked. We don't have a lot of. We did pretty good last time. So.
You know what? You end up saying that a lot because we're brilliant fellows who don't throw stuff out there just for the sake of it.
So you talked about Highway 36 and how much you like it better than I-70. So I looked up the history of Highway 36.
Wow.
Okay. It's pretty interesting. You know, I look up a lot of things for this podcast, and
it probably is very edifying.
There's quite a bit on the cutting room floor because sometimes things are not. There's just nothing interesting about them.
I see.
But anyway, here we go.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was really a fun experience for you because you learn a lot of stuff.
It is fun.
But there's some stuff that just nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah, like I could bring up a list sometime of all the things that I tried to make interesting that it just wasn't going to happen.
There you go.
So Highway 36, it followed the St. Joseph Railroad, which put together or connected St. Joe and Hannibal, Missouri. Okay, and those were the second and third biggest towns back when that railroad in Missouri when that railroad was put together. And so they built the highway along that railroad, and before that it was the Pony Express, or maybe it was after that it became the Pony Express. Yeah, after that train route it became the Pony Express because that Pony Express was in the 1870s, right?
I think it was the 1860s, but
okay.
The Pony Express is something that is in our lore.
And it was like 11 months or something.
Yeah, right. It lasted not very long. Yeah, I think less than 2 years, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fact check next time.
Hey, look at that.
Pony Express. But for it to be such an integral part of our history that everybody knows about the Pony Express, and it's considered the coolest thing. And
the guys that started it went broke,
and it was just a blip.
Yes, they went broke on that business. It was because they would only carry 8 pounds of mail or something. It was just ridiculous. I'll look it up. Okay, so I looked up home value increase in your hometown versus my hometown, or not my hometown, but my hometown now, Prairie Village. I looked up Framingham. Is that your?
Yes.
Okay. So since 2000, which one do you think the home values have gone up in more as a percentage?
Well, I'm going to guess that because Prairie Village is kind of an outlier, in the Midwest. I think it's hot stuff. So I might guess that it's every bit as much as Massachusetts, because Massachusetts has always been pretty high. So the increase probably isn't quite as great.
You're right. It's Prairie Village. Since 2000, Prairie Village has gone up 109%, and Framingham has gone up 79%.
Do you think a lot of it is that the phenomenon that we see now, where there's not all that many of them, and I'm mixing my areas when I drive through these. When they take what basically I would call sort of a ramshackle house,
a little
and
up
then
and
they
over,
buy it, and then they turn it into really kind of a completely new structure. There's a lot of that goes on here.
Yeah, there's just we call them teardowns. There's a lot of teardowns in my neighborhood, but
and those are cool. I mean, they look neat, but I'm sure they're a little controversial for some reason.
Well, they just changed the laws last year or 2 years ago about how big your house can be, how much hard space you can have. So you got to keep it under like 60% or 44% or something of that, of the lot, so that they wouldn't keep making these houses so big they go out to the curb or whatever, because they were getting out of control. Because you have a little house next to it, you're just being dwarfed. People are looking down into your backyard. So you're losing a little bit of the character of Prairie Village when they do that. And, there's less socioeconomic diversity.
Usually they do it, it seems, though, with properties that haven't been cared for that well.
Well, I mean, there's a couple down here on 71st Street on the golf course.
That were fine before?
They were bigger than this house, and they just mow them down.
Okay.
But, the other thing, and I sound like a total Prairie Village snob here.
Perfect Village?
Perfect Village, that's right, is it feels like a small town. I live in what feels like a small town. It takes me 15 minutes to get to the highway, but I can walk to 3 grocery stores. I can walk, it's a very walkable neighborhood, and you can get to everything on little 25-mile-an-hour side streets, I mean, that's like, you live out in, I don't know, southern Johnson County, and you got to make sure you're coming the right direction at the hen house so you can get turned in there. I get so frustrated out there. I'm just trying to go to this place.
Right, and you're constantly driving on 119th or 135th or 151st.
It's for the birds.
Right.
Okay, buddy. Okay, let's keep moving here.
All right.
Oh, we talked about the Beatles, and you talked about how you thought they were very funny in interviews, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up some of their funny stuff from interviews, okay?
Yes.
Pared it down to 2 things. One time a reporter asked Lennon, he said, the Americans think that your haircuts are un-American. And he said, let's see if I can do Lennon here. Well, that's very observant of them. No, that's no wait, that was Irish. Can you do?
I don't want to try on cue right now. I probably can, but
he says, "Well, that's very observant of them, because we aren't American, actually."
Right.
And then another time they said, this reporter said, there was a Time magazine article that said that Day Tripper was about a prostitute and Norwegian Wood was about a lesbian. And he asked McCartney about it. McCartney says, he asked him what he thought about the criticism, and he said, well, we're just trying to write songs about prostitutes and lesbians.
The funny thing about a lot of the interviews that you will see in that, I referenced that Ron Howard documentary about, is that they were such a big phenomenon that the big magazines like Time or, Life or
Newsweek
or the big newspapers would be sending their top veteran reporters to interview them, like guys who were in their 50s who pretty much had a lot of disdain for what was going on. Now, like what that guy said, a lot of people think a lot. No, there were millions of people who thought they were the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
So,
anyway. There was some funny quotes. We talked about Bob Saget being a filthy mouth comic, and he didn't turn into that till after Full House. He barely had a comedy career before Full House.
Yeah,
so
I think that resonated with me, that he kind of figured, I've got to do something, or I'm never going to work anymore.
Yeah, I think you were right about that.
Can I play a nice guy dad for the rest of my life?
Well, there's 2 things that I forgot. One, that he did America's Funniest Home Videos, which was just a cash cow for him, right? And the other thing is
a horrendous show.
Tell me what your real opinion of America's Funniest Home Videos is.
Just the lowest common denominator the
disgust coming out of your
the
mouth.
fart of comedy.
It's the fart of television.
And it was a huge hit. I mean,
I know.
I mean, I think he probably just got to the point. He's like, first of all, I'm doing this pablum show, and they're paying me millions. Then I'm doing this show that I can do in my sleep. He was probably half in the bag when he did it. In those shows, they generally they might tape 4 of them, a month's worth in one setting or something like that.
I remember when I was a kid, I was so jealous of all the people that would send the tapes in because we didn't have a video camera. And I'm like, man, these lucky people, they get to film their dad getting hit in the nuts with a golf club or whatever. Right.
Woo! Wacky fun. Zany.
Well, he tried to get a talk show job after that, like a talk show host job.
Right.
And they didn't give it to him. But the reason it made the fact check.
Yes.
He's the director of the movie Dirty Work. Do you know the movie Dirty Work?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, so a couple things. I love Norm Macdonald. I think he was the best anchor ever.
I think Norm Macdonald is an incredibly funny person.
On Weekend Update. We loved that movie when we were teenagers, and now it's a cult classic. Now it's because Artie Lang went on to the Howard Stern show, and so it's like a cult classic now. Anyway, he directed that, and I thought that was cool.
What's the premise of the film? I don't know. I don't really know.
There's a scene where Norm Macdonald...
If Norm Macdonald is in, I'll listen to Norm Macdonald, read the
Wikipedia
newspaper.
page. What did we decide it was?
We decided we had to do something different than read the phone book.
So he... the premise is he and Artie Lang start a business like pranking people. Like you hire them to go prank somebody, basically. Right. And this guy's shooting a live used car ad, and he's got these 3 cars, and they hire a bunch of prostitutes and put them in the back of the car, in the trunk, and tell them to play dead. And then they start opening the trunks, and these cars are opening, and Norm Macdonald walks by, and he's like, "Look at all these dead hookers. Where did all these dead hookers come from?" And and that Norm Macdonald just absolute deadpan. Oh, it was so good.
Oh, he's one of my buttons on my satellite radio is the comedy greats, and so I hear that often. And anytime he's got a bit on, it's funny. No matter what he's doing, he's just one of those people that's just naturally funny.
He's like David Letterman. Right. He and David Letterman to me are in the same vein.
Well, I mean, there's certain comics who the material can. If the material's great, it's like 10 out of 10, and even if the material is just like sort of substandard, it's 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
and he's one of those guys to me.
Yeah, Maloney is like really good. Maloney. He's that's his last name. What's his first name? I don't remember. He was a writer on SNL forever. And his comedy's all about its writing. Like, it's really good. He's not that funny. You can't write a joke for him and him go perform it. Whereas Norm, you can just hand him my fact check and he can make it funny. You talked about ABC being the gutter network.
Yes.
So this was hard to research, but basically until the 70s, they did not really have a hit show. Like, I found a list of the top 20 rated shows of the year by year, and ABC would have like 1 or 2, and the rest of them were NBC, CBS, until the 70s, okay?
Right. And when was do you have a breakthrough moment here?
Well, they had, in 1977, they had Roots, okay?
Oh, and that was it the first miniseries? I don't think so, but I think maybe, what was that one that it had King in it or something? Anyway, the late 70s, I think, was when they started the miniseries, and maybe Roots, maybe it wasn't the first one, but it was certainly a huge one.
Well, Roots Part 8 is the 3rd highest-rated show in television history. Behind Dallas, the episode Who Done It, right? Who Shot JR.
Yeah. You know what? I watched that episode. It was the first time and it was like at a party. People had parties.
I know. I remember we went to my grandparents' house for this.
And it was the first time I'd watched Dallas. Ever.
Oh,
was the final episode.
My ex-Amish Mennonite grandparents did not miss an episode of Dallas.
Big hair, big money, big tits.
So you know what the number 1 rated show of all time is.
It's the final episode of MASH.
Correct, yeah. It got a 53.3.
That's just unbelievable.
Insane, right?
Unbelievable.
So you got MASH, then you got Dallas, then you got Roots.
It does raise the question, just like when we talk about the Super Bowl, that, the Super Bowl, like what, 40% of what are the other six? I can understand if 60% of the people weren't watching television, but like in the last episode of MASH, what are the other 47% of the people watching?
Yeah, for real.
I mean, for
real.
Seriously.
Yeah. I mean, and I watched MASH in reruns growing up as a kid. It holds up. It's a good show.
I still watch it occasionally when I'm working out and there's zero else on, and it does hold up. I think the show was funnier at first, and then it was still always funny, but it got a modern sensibility to it that didn't fit the times. Like he stopped just constantly hitting on the nurses.
Oh, really? So he got a little bit more PC towards the end?
Yeah. And, he's a very, Alan Alda is a very liberal person, so I think he got a little embarrassed at the...
Wasn't he kind of a dick? Isn't that a thing?
I don't think that's a thing. I think
I'll
maybe,
look that up.
Yeah, that's probably worth a fact check. I got that vibe maybe at the time, but all I know is that as time went on, and he still works, and you see him in an occasional great character role in pictures,
yeah,
that there's nothing but respect for the man. So
is it Chevy Chase that's a dick?
I think he's a dick. But I would be more inclined to say that because I'm not a fan.
Oh, really?
No, not a fan.
Interesting. Where does that stem from?
I don't know. I just don't think he's that funny. I don't. I mean, well, first of all...
What about Steve Martin?
Funnier
than Chevy Chase. So you don't like the vacation movies? You're not a fan?
First one's okay. I don't.
First one is
I don't know
European.
Vacation.
I think.
No, I think the first one is Vacation.
Oh yeah, it's the Vacation. Yeah,
right.
That's right.
I don't think I saw the other ones. He just
what? Pause.
He's just a. In some ways, he's a pratfall comedian, and that's not my stuff.
Explain that.
Physical comedy, like fall and break the desk, that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
So that's not
Christmas
for, that's
Vacation
not for me.
Is so good.
And then there's just sort of a dick quality to it, which I think is part of what he's trying to do. Like there's certain times when I think it really works. But on the whole, not the biggest fan. I'm not. It's not like Steve Martin's in it. I mean, Chevy Chase is in it. I'm not going. But like people revere.
I'm not going.
People revere Fletch.
You're kidding me!
So
I thought that was going to be your
no
exception.
No.
Oh, dude,
no.
I've got a good friend. I don't know if he listens to this or not. He might. Who is just Fletch incarnate.
Well, no, people. I mean, it's
funny.
It's a beloved film. I'm not.
You need another beer there, sir?
I'll wait till segment 2.
No, after the bitching and moaning you did last time, that's the whole reason I brought a cooler.
No, I'm not even. I'm not finished. I'm not finished.
Well, after
I got backwash here.
After the Roots,
quality backwash.
It becomes Super Bowl, Winter Olympics, Super Bowl, Monday Night Football, etc. So really, down to number 14. The Bob Hope Vietnam Christmas Show in 1970. That's about the only other show. No. I had to say this. Number 20. No Elvis. But number 20, and this is super interesting. I don't know if we've talked about this before, but the movie The Day After.
Oh, right. I was in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about this.
No, I wasn't in it. I could have been in it. That's the story.
Because they filmed it in Lawrence.
I was in Linda Lovelace Runs for President.
Oh, one more time.
You remember,
Gesundheit?
You remember who Linda Lovelace?
No, I don't.
Who she is? She was a erotic film star. That's the way you. And they did a mainstream film.
That's hilarious.
Of her running for president, and they filmed it in Lawrence.
Oh, really?
And they did a campaign rally. But the story about The Day After is. It was done in, I think, 77. That sounds
83.
83. Oh, yeah, that was when I would have returned to college.
This is
so 83.
Second.
Yeah, that was the year I graduated.
Okay.
Anyway, everybody, and including me, had long hair.
Uh-huh.
And, but some people had started to get their haircuts.
I've seen that picture of you. Ladies and gentlemen, he looks like Kenny Rogers. He is a handsome man. You need to put that on the social media.
Well, I'll try to do that. Actually, Kenny Rogers, I don't like that one. But that picture I get Cat Stevens.
Oh, I can see that.
I get Al Pacino and Serpico.
Okay.
That poster. And those are the two that are most readily.
I'll give you like a whiter Cat Stevens.
Yeah, that was kind
But
of.
you need to understand the reverence I hold Kenny Rogers in. That's a compliment, sir.
But from the time I remember Kenny Rogers, he had gray hair. So that
you hate
grayish
gray hair.
I had
Yeah.
black hair then. But anyway, the part of the thing of the story is that they needed a bunch of people with their head shaved because they had lost all their hair in the attack. The nuclear attack.
Okay.
Well, it was very hard to get people to shave their head, even for money.
Well, I think you got to tell people what day after.
It was about a post-apocalyptic.
Very well
did
said.
do that even after one beer. That's what
There were
they
nuclear
say.
bombs that fell from
Right,
Russia, and
right.
this is after
This
it.
is the day after.
It spurred a new panic to dig bomb shelters. They think it's one of the things that got Reagan reelected.
Right.
It had widespread.
So it was right, as you said, the 20th ranked. So anyway, the point was they started off by offering college students $100 to shave their head, and then the price kept going up because people wouldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to shave their head. Nobody. I mean, now that's one great thing about this day and age. You can wear your hair pretty much any way you want.
Yeah.
You can wear it long, super long. You can, shave your head, whatever you want to do. Well, then everybody had hair, and they were and they were proud of it. And had to see my Cat Stevens whatever haircut to see so. So anyway, there was no price.
No, you had no price.
They would have had to get to couple grand. and I was broke. I was a broke college student. I'll amend
living with
I'll
five
amend
dudes
that.
in a two-bedroom.
I think it got up to I think they ended up paying some people $400, and then they were starting to get enough. But that $400, no way, no wayvo.
I
now
guess
maybe $1,000, maybe $1,000.
I'll fact check this, but all about the day after. But I remember a story that a tour bus, or not a tour bus, a Greyhound bus showed up early in the morning, and they had Mass Street done up like there was a nuclear explosion, and nobody knew what was going on. And this Greyhound bus is driving down the road like, what happened? Because it looked like this place had been exploded. Okay, just a couple more here. You talked about the push tabs on Coors Light cans?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the whole evolution.
I'm really excited about this. No, I am.
You should open a beer for this.
Okay, I will.
So here's the whole evolution of...
I'm just reaching in. I was off mic there a little bit. Sorry, folks. You know what? That's not the one.
He's going back for another.
Going back in. Oh, Tip Your Cap baseball beer. I haven't had one of these, so it's a Negro League Centennial Celebration from Boulevard.
Okay, so that's how we open beers today.
Yes.
But way back when, we would use a church key to open a beer. You'd have to literally use a little pointed thing to pop a top.
One on each side.
That's right, because you need to let some air in.
Yeah.
Then they came up with the pull tab.
Right.
But nobody liked the pull tabs because it left so much trash behind because people would just throw them.
Right.
And they were super sharp, and they made a lot of mess. So then Coors Light's like, we're going to come out with a push tab for less litter, basically, because this is back in the 70s when everybody just throws shit out their windows.
Just stayed in the can.
And, yeah, everybody, I was right. I did some research. Everybody was cutting their fingers. That's why it didn't work.
It didn't work as easily as it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had to push. There was a little push button
on both sides.
On the other side, which was supposed to make it easy, and then you pushed the can. And it wasn't, first of all, it wasn't that well designed. It wasn't that easy. Secondly, even if it was easier, you're talking about somebody who's on their fifth can of beer. They're not going to be that careful.
So then they invented these tabs we have today are called stay tabs or sta tabs, STA.
And they're supposed to stay on the can.
That was the big selling
do
point.
Stay on the can.
And then, except for Danny's.
Unless you actively take them off, which I do.
And then in the 90s, thanks to the good people at Coors Light, we have the wide mouth can now. I remember when that came out. It was like a big deal. And it got me to thinking, Coors Light is like an innovator in their beer can technology. They're the ones that have the cans that turn, the mountains turn blue.
Right.
They came up with the wide mouth, they came out with the push tab. So that was cool. Oh, I said the pull tab, these little tabs, these stay tabs, have more aluminum than the rest of the can. Untrue. But
Probably a lot.
okay, and this also reminds me.
It just seemed impossible.
What you say when you think I'm full of shit is you say, that sounds interesting. Well, that sounds interesting, Joe. So you were right. I was full of crap there. But
I'm sure it's heftier than the rest of the
it is high-grade aluminum. And so when you collect those for like Ronald McDonald House or whatever, they get more out of that aluminum, per pound or whatever than they do the rest of it. So that's why they do that. All right, we have our last fact check.
Okay.
And
this has been a robust fact check.
Well, we took a lot of dalliances on this one. Okay, so you know how we love the origins of words, right?
Yes, we do.
So we said, with a bullet.
Yes.
Do you know where that comes from?
No.
Okay, it's from the magazine Cashbox in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
So they would... So Cashbox, do you want to talk about what Cashbox was?
Cashbox was basically ranked singles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Billboard Top 100
Billboard
or whatever.
Top 100, and Cashbox was a big one.
So they would put a red bullet next to a single if it had jumped a lot.
If it, moved more than 10 spots
Exactly.
or something.
And so it's really not that old of a phrase. It's from the 70s
interesting.
with a bullet.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. That's an excellent fact check.
Fact check completed,
I
Danny.
would never have guessed that would have been... No, I mean, I would have thought it was more gun-related and et cetera. So,
Gun-related.
anyway, the fact check is over, and more nonsense is to come right here.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Time to spend a few minutes with my good friend Jeff Dillon from Dillon's Heating and Cooling. And Jeff, what differentiates your company from others in the industry?
Plain and simple, we're honest. We have integrity, and we're going to do things right the first time. There's way too many companies out there that lie, cheat, hide things from the homeowner or customer, and we're not about that. It's kind of funny sometimes. I actually am so honest with some people, it kind of surprises them. But sometimes it's good for business, sometimes it's bad for business. But ultimately, it's the kind of business that I want to run, is an honest one.
And that family way of treating things is part of your slogan, and it's also part of one of your great features that you offer to customers.
Our slogan is like family. Our most popular maintenance plan is called the Family Plan. It's very similar to a lot of ones out there. The little tweak that we do to ours, 1% off for every 2 years. They have a continued maintenance plan with us. If they have a maintenance plan for 10 years, then we give them 5% off, no questions asked.
You can find out more about Dillon's Heating and Cooling and all their great range of services at dillonsheatingandcooling.com. That's Dillon's with an S. The phone number, 913-214-1343.
Hey everyone, this is Matt Llewellyn for the 23rd Street Brewery. Thank you so much for supporting local restaurants, especially through this pandemic. And you know what? We're almost through it. At the 23rd Street Brewery, we have brought in a few more tables. You can wear a mask if you want, or not. It's your choice. Other than that, we're open 11:30 every single day. So come see us at the 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence.
I'm here with Tim Emerson, the owner of Emerson & Company. And Tim, give us an idea of the range of services that you provide from Emerson & Company.
At Emerson & Company, we do credit card processing, payroll services. We do bookkeeping, merchant accounts like point-of-sale systems.
What would you say differentiates you from other companies in the field, and what makes you special?
I think what makes us unique is that we're a small local business making regional decisions on companies. We create a profile for the business and then put it out to our different vendors in a very competitive environment and tailor those needs to the specific business, which usually ends up in a great fit or great result for the company.
And, of course, the idea is to save money, right?
Save money, and actually sometimes I'm surprised where actually a solution that may cost a little bit more ultimately does save money, but we're not conditioned to think like that sometimes.
Emerson & Company. Check them out at emerson-co.com or call them at 816-360-9092.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
That's Joe with number 2. Don't get any ideas. I'm only on number 2. You don't know what goes on after the podcast is over. Maybe you don't want to, or maybe you do. Anyway, we're back, and now what you've got is a Well, you can talk now, so.
Oh, that's right. How about that? It's a Martin City Coastline IPA, and I'll tell you, maybe it's just because I came from this delicious going coastal IPA with pineapple.
So the Coastline, is this another one that's supposed to have some kind of an island vibe?
It says West Coast style India Pale Ale. And I'm not trying to throw shade on Martin City because I think they're great.
I do like Martin City, yeah. I think they're good beer. But it looks like the Sweetwater is a winner.
Yeah. I'll give this 7.
Okay.
7, 6.5 maybe.
Still good. I'll give a solid 8 to the Moon Rambler IPA, and the Tip Your Cap, I'll give it another try here.
Is that just like I'm guessing that's a pound it beer.
Baseball beer. No, it doesn't really. I think it's just a regular beer, but it's pretty good for that. It doesn't describe itself as anything except a beer, but it doesn't taste like just to pull it out of the air. It doesn't taste like a Budweiser or something.
It doesn't taste like a Pabst.
No, it doesn't taste like a Pabst. And it's
don't you roll your eyes at Pabst. I love me some Pabst.
And it's a pretty good, solid, regular old beer.
Okay,
I'll 6.8.
Oh, 6.8. Yeah. We should start. I should keep a spreadsheet. We should.
Well, we haven't been doing it. So
yeah, we're doing this from now on.
Well, when I review movies, which I'm going to get back to, by the way, here sometime soon, because during COVID, I didn't really want to review things I watched on television or whatever. To me, we went to the movies the other day.
Oh.
Yeah. Again, second time. About 6 weeks ago, we went to the movies, and we went back the other day. We saw Dream Horse. Very nice, feel-good movie about a true story that actually had a documentary done about it in like 2015 or 16 about a small Welsh town and a lady who had a difficult life, and her husband is arthritic, whatever, and she had raised and been around animals a lot when she was young. Anyway, the upshot is this underdog story, which is true, of her breeding a thoroughbred that ran in races, and they put together a syndicate of people from the town to make enough money to support having this thoroughbred horse. And Toni Collette is in it, the actress, and she just takes an ordinary story, feel-good sports story. If you love those type of things, you'll love it, and she just raises it up another level. So
was this at one of those fancy art house type places?
No, it was just at B&B Shawnee, but it's not an art house film, but it's a small film. But she's fantastic. The cast is great.
How many other people were in the theater?
It was up. It was a pretty decent crowd.
What'd you get for a snack?
Well, we went to lunch first, but I made my dessert popcorn.
Do you butter it halfway through with the butter-like substance?
No. I use butter. Oh, well, yes, I do the butter substance, but why don't they get? You know what they should do? Because I see people do it, and I did it. And I don't like doing it, but I get a small popcorn, and I usually don't eat that much of it. I don't eat popcorn during the movie. I only eat it during the previews.
Oh, really? Is this a policy because you're hoping other people will do this for you?
Not necessarily. I don't really care if they're eating their popcorn, but it's just for me, I want to concentrate on the movie, and also I don't want to be munching popcorn while the movie's going on. But
God, you just live in your head for just a day.
You put the butter, they're nice and they fill the bag. But how are you supposed to butter all the popcorn?
I've got 2 ways.
Now, people will do what I did, and I don't like doing it, and I've seen other people do it, so I did, which is to, I put some butter on, I tried to shake it out, and then I basically dumped some popcorn out on the
Danny.
On the little tray
on the
there,
little thing.
Then put more butter on, and then swept as much popcorn back in as I could get.
Oh, that's gross. Listen, I learned this from my wife. There are 3 ways.
Well, why don't they just give you 2 little bags of half-filled popcorn, and then you can make one?
So
wouldn't that be a good idea?
That's number 1. You just ask them for an extra container, and they'll give it to you.
They will?
They will.
Because a lot of times...
Because they know why you're asking.
Okay.
Because they don't want to do alternative number 2, which is fill it halfway, give it to me. I'm going to go butter it. I'm going to bring it back, and you fill it back up, because that's the other thing that you can do. And number 3, you ask for a straw or get a straw. You shove the straw all the way to the bottom of the popcorn.
Wow.
And then you shoot the butter in it and slowly pull the straw up as you're shooting butter down through the straw, and it separates butter throughout the popcorn as you pull the straw.
That sounds like the plan. That sounds like the plan right there. Simple, efficacious. I like
It's
it.
not as simple as it sounds because you end up overshooting the straw, and then your hand is covered in this butter-like
It's
substance.
probably hard to get the butter into the straw. I
That's
guess
what
I'll
I'm
say
saying.
that, you know.
But it takes a technique, and once you get it down, you're golden, pony boy.
I may go with because usually places like your Quick Trip, your whatever, they're fussy about giving you another cup or another because they have to inventory.
Well, they're not charging you $14 for popcorn at Quick Trip.
Right. Oh, it's routinely you just don't even want to see the total
Exactly.
because all we got
It's
was
like buying gasoline, just
my-
whatever it costs.
My wife got a Butterfinger bites, and I got a small popcorn, and we got a medium Coke and shared it, and it's still
$27.
yeah, whatever.
Try going with a family of 4.
It's
And
amazing.
it's a special occasion, so it's like, yeah, get whatever you want. It's $80 sometimes just for the snacks.
I mean, it's amazing, and people are just. It's like when you go to the ballpark,
Yep.
and you're just willing to. You're there. You're willing to pay it, and
Yeah, speaking of the ballpark, I've been thinking I need to get to a Royals game because these
you're
suckers.
wearing a Royals hat there.
That's right. I got it. I brushed it off. I brushed off the World Series champions hat here. Oh, no, this is from the first year, I believe. Yeah.
Is that just the World Series appearance, not the champs?
Yeah, this is from. Oh, no, this is from 15.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're playing pretty good.
They are.
got me listening to sports talk when they're talking Royals. I mean,
I
that's
think they went 16-9, then lost 11 in a row, and now I think they've won like
it's 9 and 6, right?
2/3
Something like
of them
that.
since then. So now they've done a good job of playing good enough when they play bad teams. Like for instance, they took 2 out of 3 with the Twins. I thought they played like crap in that series. I do what I'm a baseball fan. I like watching baseball, so I will watch entire Royals games. Now I'm not saying I don't, speed watch some of it.
Yeah.
But I like baseball and I like watching the Royals. And I'm not a Royals fan, but
I found out this year.
I like the Royals though.
I found out this year. I didn't notice last year because of COVID. I found out this year that I think I watched a lot more Royals than what I gave myself credit that I did.
Right.
Because I don't have it now.
Right.
And with YouTube TV, and I find myself like, oh yeah, I would have watched. Like last night, I would have watched.
I saw so many people on social media embracing the fact that they were watching their first Royals game of the season on Monday night.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Which I didn't realize.
I didn't watch the ESPN feed. I knew about it, but I watched. I went to the usual place where I watched the Royals. By the way, Bally Sports Kansas City on my the grid, which automatically saves the Royals game for me. Certain times, if you for a certain amount of times you watch a certain thing, it'll put it in its memory, like golf or whatever. But they only block 3 hours for the ball game, and it's never 3 hours.
Nope.
So if you forget, or
which is
you're
a
going
travesty,
back,
by the way.
it's like the bottom of the 7th, and you run out of game.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm watching the game, and I'm a little behind or whatever, and I'm like, oh, we better
get caught up.
Royals post game, go to the grid again.
Yeah.
And go two blocks out. So.
Well,
but I think they are playing better, and I think they have the chance to be better. A lot depends on, of course, the oft-injured Adalberto Mondesi.
Yeah.
But they have possibilities of things that can make them better. Do I tab them a contender? Maybe not, but they're the thing. I guess the thing that gives me the most hope about the Royals is I think they win some games where you're like, God, they didn't play very well in that game, and they won.
I thought Rainey was good on Petro's show the other day.
Well, he's always good.
Man, he's good.
Yep.
And it's too bad they can't get him on every week like they used to. But he thought they'd be contenders in 22, like next year, he thought. And I'm going to have to fix this situation so I can see a few more of these games and not have to go to the bar to watch a baseball game. But
good excuse.
Yeah, great excuse, right? Yeah, sure. See how that goes over like a turd in a punch bowl. Going
to watch the Royals.
You know what I have been paying a lot of attention to is the Hot Stove European Soccer Edition.
And what's that on?
No, I'm just saying hot stove. It's
you
the
mean
off
it's hot stove
season.
time.
You got managers moving.
Oh, by
Is
the way,
Ronaldo going to
I
renew?
need information, and you're going to. I keep forgetting to
Okay.
look. You're going to probably crush my soul.
Okay.
But what television outlet are the European Championships on?
Oh, the Euros? I don't know. I haven't looked yet.
Okay.
I'm guessing Paramount.
Oh boy.
I told you I'd give you my password as long as it doesn't make mine not work.
Well, I may.
You know what really grinds my gears? I buy that GD Paramount, and they put the Champions League final on regular TV. I'm like, you made me buy this damn streaming service. You're going to put that championship on for everybody?
Well, thank goodness, because I got to watch it, and after being pissed all year, it was a good game too.
Well, in the end, I didn't. I was out on the boat for everything but the last 25 minutes when De Bruyne got his face broken. You know, he broke an orbital bone.
He did.
And this brings up something. I'm watching down at the lake, and my brother, I turn it on. We get back from outside. My brother-in-law sits down, and somebody gets stepped on at full speed. They get their foot stepped on in cleats running full speed. I mean, that hurts. Okay.
Yeah, and they don't wear like hard spikes
No.
anymore. I mean hard
Tops.
shell, hard
Yeah.
shells.
Yeah, there's
shoes.
no protection. When I'm at soccer practice coaching my boys and one of them steps on my foot, I want to fall down and cry. Okay, it hurts, and I'm not even running, and they're not even 70 pounds.
Right.
So anyway, my brother-in-law sits down and he goes, that's what's wrong with soccer. This chicken shit behavior here. And I'm like, I about lost my crap. I'm like, first of all, watch the replay. That really hurts. And secondly, if he was faking it, has anybody in a basketball game you've ever seen taken a charge before? Because it's the same damn thing.
Or they go to the basket and they just flail their arms in the air.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's just haters are going to hate.
I know, Danny, but I'm not mature enough for that yet.
Right. Well, people also a lot of times they'll step on the dude's Achilles. I mean, it's,
I know,
it's
and
not
that's awful.
It's not good. Now, I mean, are they? Do they elaborate? Some, of course, they do. But
Yes.
first of all, it works, which is unfortunate. And secondly, every other sport does it.
Well, think
Every other
about the
sport does it.
Royals. Has anybody ever now with replay? It's not as bad now. Anybody ever pretended like they got hit with a pitch when it really hit the knob of the bat?
You mean like Josh Donaldson the other day?
Correct. And it that's just being a gamer
Right.
when it's baseball.
Or NASCAR. You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Or horse racing. I mean, look at it. They confirmed that it was a drug test.
If you're not roiding, you're not running.
Oh boy, that's not good.
Yeah, how about that? And did you see that guy, that trainer? Talk about a creep. SNL did an imitation of him or impersonation of him on Weekend Update. It was so good. Did you see that? Are you watching SNL?
I did not. I still think it's a funny show. I just don't happen to watch it that much anymore.
We watch it on
Bob
Sundays
Baffert is
like
a
old
highly,
people.
I mean, this isn't. The last year's been bad for him, but before that, I think he was a highly respected person in his profession. So this is kind of a bad look.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Into your career, and he's probably been getting away with it forever.
You would think he's just after winning all these trophies and derbies and everything else that he's just not saying, "Oh, I'm so desperate, I need to do this." I don't.
Did the
so.
second blood test, the duplicate blood test, come back dirty? Also, did you see
today? Something came back.
Oh, I
as
didn't.
we speak, it came back dirty. So I.
When do you think the Royals are going to be like a real competitor for more than just an appearance in the wild card game?
I'm not going to guarantee that they get above that level, but getting to that level is fine. That's where you want to be. Is it difficult for the Royals? The thing is, you just need questions always answered yes when you're a team like the Royals. Is Bobby Witt going to be a great player or just a good player?
Yeah.
Is Mondesi ever going to be healthy?
No.
All these, other teams have had big waves of all this pitching that was supposed to be the thing, and then none of it panned out. And that's just the way pitching is.
Just imagine being a Mets fan, like they actually got it all up to the bigs and never got anything out of it.
Right, and the Mets fans, like not a generation before, but like 12, 14 years before that, had another group of like 6, 7, 8 can't-miss guys, and they all pretty much missed.
But what my question would be...
Or got hurt, or whatever.
Yeah, my question would be what... when the Royals did it before, they found a market inefficiency, and relievers, fire-throwing relievers. Everybody's caught up with that now. So, like, what are they going to do different? Or is this new ownership group just going to spend more money? And when the hell do I get a downtown stadium? Those are three different things that I think all go together, though, right?
Well, I think that I literally think that the Royals winning the World Series hurt the possibility of downtown baseball, because people now have another generation of great memories of going out to the K.
Screw that. I missed one playoff game both of those years, and it was to see Jerry Seinfeld stand up. Have I ever told that story?
Wildly underrated, by the way. Yes, I believe you.
Okay. And anyway, it was great. Everybody's phones start going off when the Royals won. And the guy literally that's opening for him is like, he just looks at the audience. What is going on? And we're like, somebody starts doing the, let's go Royals.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, okay, so the game's over? And what was the score? And the Royals won? Okay, got it. Now everybody pay attention to me. But for me, man, screw that. I want a downtown stadium. You could drive down the plaza, take the streetcar down to the downtown stadium. I mean, come on.
Totally agree. I mean, I can't agree more. But
anyway, but you get that stadium, you start winning, you make money.
It's too bad they didn't do it at the time that it last had its iteration, which I know when I was working at A10, we really campaigned for it. Mm-hmm. And the arguments against it were just pathetic and, so dumb. But I don't want to revisit.
No reason to.
Let's not revisit that. So,
no. What do you think?
What do you mean?
You going to have one more? Or?
Yeah, but probably not during this podcast. Do we want to do our Desert Island music, or do we want to save that for another time? Why don't we tease that for another time?
Well, okay, I'll tease it. So I thought we were going to be short for topics today.
Which we never are.
Never a problem. I said to Danny, hey, think of your top 5 favorite bands of all time. Not the top 5 greatest, just the top 5. Yours, artists or bands. I think we all know what his number 1 is going to be.
Right.
But anyway, so next time out, if we're short on topics.
No, next time out, we teased it, we'll do it.
Okay, got it.
But it's a fool's errand. There's just too much good
I started
stuff.
making a list. I'm like, shit, this was a bad
idea. I know what
idea.
I'm going to say, but then I'm going to say, hey, I could add this, I could add this, I could add this, I could change this.
Well, you want to go long? We can do it now.
No, let's not do it. We want to savor it, treasure it, and make sure that people return in 2 weeks for another edition of Thirsty Thursdays, Sense and Nonsense.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
Dillon's Heating and Cooling, treating you like family with expert and affordable HVAC services.